Welcome, everybody. I'm Costa Macris, the founder and facilitator of etletstalk.com and the ET Let's Talk community. And I want to welcome you today to a very special interview with a special person, Emery Smith, who is a secret space program insider and has a lot of interesting and fascinating things to tell us about his life and his work and his perspective on things. And before I introduce Emery and we get started, I do want to let people know about the ET Let's Talk community. Many of you out there are and have been making a lot of ET contact. That's what we do. We're 17,000 people in more than 100 countries who are making daily, weekly, and monthly ET contact, all with the purpose of welcoming our star friends and helping to build a golden age for Gaia, for our beloved Earth, and for ourselves and all her life forms. So I want to encourage those of you hearing this broadcast to share it on social media, pass it around. Come and join as a free member at etletstalk.com, and you will be connected to our community and kept up to date on our ET Contact events, on our retreats. You'll be able to look at our CE5 member map and find other people near you, and we'll teach you how to make the ET contact. It's very simple and direct, and that's all that it takes. It's consciousness, and we can offer that and want to welcome you and to come and join us in this community. That's at etletstalk.com. So now, without any further ado, I want to welcome Emery Smith, our special secret space program insider. And Emery, if I didn't get that title correctly, please do correct me on that. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Costas. I really appreciate you having me on here because a lot of your 17,000 people that are listening are actually friends of mine. When I was helping Greer and CSETI events for 7 years by volunteering, and also, helping support and direct the movie, Cirrus, the documentary. So I really just, for me, this is like talking to my family. And I love you all, and I really thank you for your support and everything of, getting me through these troubled times here and coming forward. A lot of you did not know I was part of these programs. I don't necessarily call it the secret space program. It's kind of a pop culture thing. I'm definitely an insider, and I'm here to tell the story if people want to listen. And one of the most highly credentialed insiders that have ever come forward based on the documents I've presented to major organizations. So thank you again. And it's always a blessing to have you and I on the phone talking about all the amazing events that we've been through and all the amazing events we're going to go through.
That's certainly true. It's a real honor to be able to reconnect with you here and to be able to share you and your background and your stories with so many people. What I want to say to our community before we get into questions and having Emery dive a lot deeper into what he wants to say today. What I want to say is that I hope that you all will contribute financially to help Emery. Those of you following his story already know, and some of you are learning, that he has paid a heavy personal, financial, emotional, and otherwise price for coming forward to give us all this information. And I believe it's our honor and duty and pleasure to be able to support him doing this, because he is being a voice for all of us, and a voice of education, and a voice that's leading us into the future with the information that he has. He deserves to be able to have some financial sustenance because he has been hit on that in that area. And of course, a lot of people, as I've seen on social media, have come forward and have been helping Emery with financial contributions. But the need is ongoing, and I cannot stress enough. Please dig deep and help him in this way financially, so that he can continue doing these kinds of interviews and continue to inform us and awaken us as to what's really been going on. Emery, I don't have the link in my head right now, but I will ask you to, if you've got the link in your head, the PayPal link to have people be able to send you a contribution to help you, then go ahead and
yeah. Well, thanks, Tosh. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you so much. You know, I'm not one to talk about my financial hardships or difficulties going through this time with the recent events and me being hospitalized. But yes, it is Emery Smith 72 at PayPal. Not at PayPal, but if you just go to PayPal, put in Emery Smith 72, you guys will see that. I think it's also on. It might be on Facebook or emerysmith.net. You could look over there as well. And I really appreciate everyone that's already given, you know, whatever contribution, because it really helps out. I don't get paid for interviews. I don't get paid for TV time. Okay, I'm doing this just because I have to right now with the advent of me getting, you know, coming forward with the 0 Point Energy devices. You know, things have been a little rough, as everyone knows. I'm sure you guys have been following things on Dave Wilcox's website and Gaia as well about what's been going on with some of the shows and a lot of the radio shows I've been doing with Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, and Coast Coast. And I really appreciate everyone that has already, you know, done some nice donations to keep me afloat, because I got to eat and I don't have a house. I'm carless and basically homeless. I have staying at a hotel. Looking for an apartment right now in Boulder, Colorado. I also have a PO box. I know people have been asking a lot on the web about, what can we do to help? And, people have been asking me for my address as well. And I can definitely give you that as well. It's Emery Smith, 2995 55th Street, unit PO box 17190, Boulder, Colorado 80301. And then, of course, the PayPal is just Emery Smith 72 when you go to PayPal. And thank you for doing that, Costa. I really appreciate that. I was not expecting you to say that.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. I think there are very few of us that could have withstood the assault on them in multiple ways that you have withstood, Emery. I truly say from my heart that I consider you a spiritual light warrior whose work right now is very critical in a much larger way. And I'm sure people will realize that as you talk about your information here, just really how much you've been involved in and how big this picture is of what's going on the planet that people need to know about. Now, I realize that some of this may be repetition for some of you, but this ET Let's Talk audience initially, which is getting this this interview and will be spreading it, many people in it may not already be familiar with who you are, Emery, and where you've come from. So if you don't mind and could give us as brief or as long of a bio of who Emery Smith is and what has led to us having this conversation now, and that would help a lot of people to meet you. So everyone, meet Emery, and Emery, you can share as much as you like or as little as you like.
Oh, well, sure. My name is Emery Smith. I joined the military at a very early age. I was part of an auxiliary Air Force and Army ROTC unit by the age of 13, doing search and rescue. From there, after graduating high school, I went to the United States Air Force and was with them for about 7 years. Active duty, reserve, and inactive. During my time as a surgical technician, paramedic, and surgical first assist, and clinical specialist in different types of regenerative technologies and medicine, I was asked to do some what we call moonlighting work after hours. So active duty personnel sometimes get offered these weird civilian side jobs that are actually on a military base or installation. And during that time, because of my abilities and career technician type recruitments of doing multiple things in the medical field, I was able to take a moonlighting job in the underground facilities of Los Alamos Labs, New Mexico, and also Sandia Labs in New Mexico, where there is a huge underground facility that goes down a few hundred floors. And it's part of, it's all connected. People must understand, though, the reason they pick active duty members to do things is because in the advent of a tragedy or something, they don't have to really tell the family anything that you just died in the face of duty. And so we're very expendable, unfortunately. But they do take care of us very, very well. And being a young man at that time in the early 90s, I was basically trying to just make some extra money, not knowing that I was going to be brought into some of the most classified projects known today. And one of the first projects that I was involved with was tissue sampling and harvesting. So I was normally used to that working in the surgical field. And from there, I basically thought I was just going to do some organ harvesting for the fallen soldiers, but it was not that at all. It was actually sampling tissue samples of tissue, over 3,000 samples of tissue of samples from other than Earth origin is what they call. And that led me, of course, to the fascination with extraterrestrials. Of course, growing up, I did have some amazing experiences at a very young age in the 70s, where I was visited at our farm by extraterrestrials. And I knew this was real. I also knew that I had some ability to speak with animals telepathically and plants. And this all happened after my meeting around the age of 7 and 8 years of age of, witnessing this craft landing on our lake. So needless to say, I became very addicted to these classified compartmentalized projects. And as long as you just keep your mouth shut, every 3 to 4 months, you get a higher clearance rating. And I did what we call an A alpha 22 level. There's other pop culture terms out there like Umbra and classification 33. I'm not aware of those, by the way. So I just want to come clean on that. And I do not work for any 3-letter agencies like people think. I see a lot of things out there like how long you been in the CIA, FBI. I don't do any of that. I was just a technician in these underground facilities that was able to get debriefed on some amazing things. And it becomes addictive when you're a young guy making some extra money, and also the fascination of these beings, these extraterrestrials. And not all of them may be extraterrestrials. So, they might have been hybrids, clones. They could have been grown these things, but I'm not allowed to ask that. I'm basically paid to go into this special facility and take these special instruments and amazing technologies to take tissue samples, whether they're cells or liquid or full bodies. Sometimes towards the end, there was many, many full bodies. And that's why I got out of the projects after that, because I felt there was something going on that was not maybe serving the world. And a lot of these things these samples are used to make pharmaceuticals, upgrade genetic DNA, and things like that. And we all are experiencing, this upgrade yearly. So after being in those projects, I, did get out, and I went back to, I was in New Mexico, went back to Florida to take care of my mother and father who were deathly ill. And also just do that on the side every now and then, fly up there and, do this tissue sampling, also growing cultures of cells and whatnot. That's where I became really familiar with regenerative medicine. And I invented the first tabletop stem cell concentrator and the first tabletop platelet-rich plasma concentrator, and got those things patented, which was a very, very hard thing to do at the time, because these devices I developed were curing people of diabetic wounds. I cured peripheral artery disease with my device at Ohio State University. Many publications of my device all around the world with harvesting blood and spinning it down and harvesting the growth factors out of blood and special proteins, including stem cells as well, and injecting these components into the body, the joints, into the bloodstream, and all over. We've been very successful with this device and over 100 countries, and also the technology. I was the first CME accredited university where we could basically take physicians and train physicians. And even though I'm not a medical doctor, by trade, I do have enough college credit hours for about 3 PhDs. So when I got out of the military, I did not want to cash that in and have people realize, well, this MD has developed something and now I have to sell it to an MD. There's a lot of ego with stuff like that. So they labeled me a clinical practitioner, which means I can work under the direction of a physician in surgery and whatnot, and, do these types of things. So anyway, going back to the symposiums, I was in conferences that I was training and met, the majority of physicians that at that time were getting into PR, platelet-rich plasma, stem cells, and alpha-2 macroglobulin. They were allowing us to be allowing me to be CME accredited, which means after the physicians go through my course, they get these continuing education units that they have to do every year anyway. But in order to do the procedure, they have to actually go through this to get a certification and make sure they're covered by their own medical insurance, malpractice insurance. So it was a great time to open up and meet the most amazing surgeons around the world and help third world countries get this to, cure their diabetic wounds and whatnot. And the FDA and the government did not like what I was doing, and they did open a huge lawsuit against me at that time and try to shut me down. I did survive that after losing everything, and then built myself up again, and was very, very successful with that. And then recently was stripped of my patent by a business partner, which I'm in a $169 million lawsuit right now. But since I've run out of money the past 3 years because of this business partner who's very racist and also was just very jealous of me being the face of the company. Of course, I developed the system, and we were very close friends for many, many years. But I think the money got to him, and I've lost everything, including my family and all my friends, because of this incident over the last 3 years. So it's been a very tragic time. And the part that really got me was once my business partners, and I had 21 corporations at one time, and they were just really upset and didn't want to be associated with me when I started, becoming vice president of CSETI for 7 years and making this movie, series of documentary behind the scenes, and also funding it behind the scenes. And I was a volunteer, and people think I was getting paid for this. I never got paid for that. I was strictly volunteer. I actually put over $350,000 into the project. That was going on. But what had happened is these colleagues somehow started getting really jealous of me being in the spotlight and didn't want to be associated with extraterrestrials. They thought it made the company look bad that the owner was doing these types of things, working with extraterrestrials, making this movie about extraterrestrials. And I knew right away that this was going to go south real quick. And, and it did. And I lost everything because of that. And I'm still here talking about it. And I've actually come more, I've become more aware that, this is just something to try to slow me down. And it had nothing to do with, the intent. They were just doing this because they were infiltrated probably. And it's horrible. It's a horrible thing because these devices and technologies that I had invented were going around the world. And my partner didn't like that. I was donating a lot of things to Jamaica and to other third world countries around the planet to help people, because when we're making that much money, these devices need to be put in everyone's hands. Everyone should have the benefit from this. And so we went forward, and then I got taken out, and we had a lab. The money I was making from this unit, from the stem cell projects and the PRP projects, were funding, a $3 million, free Zero Point Energy lab down in Fort Myers, Florida, for 5 years. So I was turning around the money that I made to cure and help people and putting it into another device. All my inventions only help Gaia, which means the earth, and only helps the animals and welfare of all the animals and beings of the planet, and then the humans as well. So that's my whole take on the world is, okay, let's do something that everyone can benefit from, and happy Earth Day, everyone. Is it Earth Day, Hollis? I think it's Earth Day.
Yes.
My team here says, oh, it's Earth Day. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some money raised, and we're going to take my other inventions. I have hundreds of them, and we're together as a collective going to put this out to the world for free and give it to these other third world countries, because it's not going to happen probably in the United States of America, because they don't want anything that, competes with gas, coal, and oil. They don't want anything that's going to, cure anything, because big pharma and the 300 major corporations that run the planet are making a lot of money off of it. But there's a way to do it, and we're going to do it. And I'm going to get into that probably on another episode with you, Holler. So that's kind of my background now. Once I started the 0 Point Energy thing, and I got it validated between August, it was October, that the actual validation came through saying this is an over Unity device. You can charge unlimited batteries with this device. And it was the day after it got validated that I was in a head-on collision in Topanga, California, where the person was kind of in a really weird state of mind. And if anyone knows how these roads are in Topanga, you have a hairpin turn, a switchback like every 50 feet, and people drive a little crazy out there. And we were coming around a turn with the device transporting it after it was validated, and a man came around the turn a little bit too fast, and he went over the line. And we had enough time to look at it and say, this guy is gonna hit us. No, he's not. He's gonna autocorrect. He was probably on the phone or something. And we could see that there was definitely enough time for him to autocorrect. Instead, he came all the way into the lane and gunned it. Literally accelerated the car. And we just looked, my team was with me, and we're just like, this is really going to hurt. And I'm, of course, against the canyon wall. So there's no place for me to get away from him. And at the last possible second, due to my driving experience in the military, I cut right really quick. Instead of a head-on collision, he took out the entire left front corner panel of the Range Rover, which saved our lives, by the way. So this being said, we just knew that we were going to be up against some things coming forward. And since October 20th, when this accident occurred, it's been pretty much a nightmare with ongoing. I just was in a serious car accident after the white paper from the Atacama Being. I was published as, of course, the author, one of the docs in there with Dr. Gary Nolan. And when the white paper came out, the next day, another collision happened to me where a young university student rammed me at 55 miles an hour while I was sitting at a stoplight. Luckily, I was in a rental car that was really large, a SUV, and it was most of the impact. I did go unconscious for a couple seconds. I was taken to the emergency room, and you guys know the rest. If you look at Facebook and some other people that have been updating you guys out there, and it was horrendous. And this is all because every time after an event of something that's going to help the world or something that's getting attention, these events happen. And and that's just a couple of car accidents. There's a lot of other things. We were followed by at least 4 or 5 different agencies, I believe, with cameras and just complete harassment all the time in public, where people would just come up and just try to fight me because I talk to ETs and, these types of things that people are just asymmetrical threats that come out. And of course, they want me to engage. There's many things that have happened as far as being framed for things. There's a lot of extortion going on. If I don't do this, we're going to do this. And, so it's a lot of this horrible, threats. I was just doing the Coast to Coast interview with Jimmy Church and also Faith Black. And they came on the phone. They said, delete, terminate Smith. You need to shut the what up. And this is all in recorded. And poor Coast to Coast was just freaking out. The security team came on, and everyone was concerned about my well-being. I knew I was in a safe area. I knew this was just an intimidation factor. They come on the phone all the time and say these things to me, but they don't. They haven't touched me. I'm not invincible. I'm not a superhero. I'm just like everybody else. I can't dodge a bullet, that's for sure. There are a lot of white hats in the government who stepped up, and they did come and send protection just for a just for a few weeks to make sure there was nothing going on. And Coast to Coast has never experienced this type of infiltration ever. And you guys all know, how that works. So it's been a very trying time for me, and being out of work and I'm really just trying to get this information out as much as I can and update everyone before something actually serious happens to me. And that's my goal right now. We're also going to start a new documentary. We're going to take you guys to Antarctica, Chile, Egypt, some secret places in Italy and Northern Europe. And you're going to see how my life has been for the last 8 years with one of my other agents that work with me as far as collecting DNA and data from around the world. The Atomic Being is not the only one. There's a lot of stuff we do that's been untold, and we're going to slap some GoPro cameras on our back, and you're going to come out the helicopter with me, and we're going to go do real stuff. You're going to see what we do, and it's going to be an exciting time. I'll keep you guys updated on that. We don't have a title for the movie yet, but stay tuned. It's going to be an action-packed, real Indiana Jones movie, and you can get to see and follow me for the things and the classified missions and stuff that we get privately funded for when these things happen. I haven't done that in over a year because of the attacks. So I've kind of been out of, the work thing. I got a little nervous. I said, I need to come forward. And that's what I did in November. I came forward with the help of David Wilcock and Gaia TV and a bunch of other untold angels that are around working behind the scenes. But the thing is, if you're not always protected, and it's a really difficult thing to be harassed consistently because you have proven over unity. You have proven ETs exist. I'm the only insider that I'm aware of because of all the organizations who have came to me and asked for the credentials and whatnot. As actually a credentialed person to show that I actually was, in the military. I actually did work in these projects. I have over 100 letter recommendations from colonels and generals and captains of the military and all factions of the military, not just the United States Air Force. I was brought into many different other military organizations to help decipher things, including the shapes of craft, the types of ETs, and where they come from, star systems, and also the most important is, the extraterrestrial contact and how we communicate with ETs and all the different languages, which not many people know about, which I'm going to come forward with this year as much as I can. So that's just a short background of kind of how I got into it. And I love it. And I love you all. And I'm going to keep going. And that's what's going to happen.
My jaw is on the floor, Amory, as much as I already know. I just learned quite a few new things as you were talking. Thank you for the depth of that. I don't know where to start. There were so many things you touched on in your summary there that would be entire episodes and interviews in and of themselves. And I hope that in the future, as you talk to others and to our community here, that we will get the chance to delve into those a whole lot deeper. But for right now, let me ask you this: if you, and this may be hard for you to pin down, and say so if it is, but if you could say just one thing to the entire community listening to this, to all the people that you want to inform, and like I said, it may not just be one thing, but if there were something overriding some message you wanted to give, what would that be?
You guys signed up for this. We all did. We're all the same. We're all part of this. You are me. You guys empower me. I hope I empower you. Yeah, I've done a lot of things. I'm a contractor, a scientist. You guys know what I do. I'm a veteran, and we're all veterans. We're all scientists. We're all contractors. We're all people of love. We're all one. And we have to stop treating each other based on pigment, based on what we do, our level of the jobs we do. We have to get rid of this whole bigotry, because I've done enough genetic testing to let you all know 100%. The color of your skin doesn't matter who you are, and your religion doesn't matter who you are. All this stuff is entrained and programmed into people of the planet and the world. You know, I've been in war. People do not want to fight. Okay, there's factions and governments and these organizations out there that need us and want us to fight as their slaves to make money for some amazing projects and amazing cures, which they will not release to us. So I'm going to release it all. So I want to give everyone hope. And I want to tell you that self-sustainability is coming. There will be enough food and enough clean water around the planet with shelter for every human being on this planet, and extraterrestrial on the planet, by the way. And you know, extraterrestrials are homeless too, you know. So imagine volunteering to come to this planet like we have, and these ETs come here thinking it's going to be some sort of Disney world, and they think, whoa, man, these guys are pretty hardcore. You know, the extraterrestrials look down on us and say, man, these are the real superheroes of the universe. You know, they can sit down there, get blasted by some EMF waves and microwaves and the lights and the lead in the paint and the walls, and wear these clothes that are completely contaminated, and their DNA just changes over hundreds of years, and they're resilient. You know, we're some tough little kids down here, and they know that, and they love it. And you know, the fact that that Gaia Earth is the jewel of the entire universe, and people come here like it's Disneyland. People mean the beings that are out there. You know, I only know a few million species, but I'm telling you, it's greater than that. It's more than that. And we need to start helping each other. We need to come together. Okay, we need to stop videotaping, you know, people's heads getting chopped off, and people that are born into these different types of areas of the planet. You know, we need to stop all this. We don't need to train a 13-year-old how to chop a U.S. soldier's head off. You know, we don't need gas, coal, and oil. Okay, I hate getting in a vehicle every day because it's the same darn technology we've been using for 100 years. I'm going to tell you right now, ETs don't go across the solar system at light speed on 93 octane gas, okay, or jet fuel. It's a tragedy that's happening. And the fact that the new children being born in the world right now are coming already pre-programmed with all the apps in their brain, being able to use a higher percentage of their brain. We're getting showered by amazing technologies of energy that's allowing us to become more conscious, so we can go amongst the stars without being, you know, secluded to one planet. And we're going to be able to go inside the Earth. So there's another thing we're going to show you in this documentary about the inner Earth. You know, we have the technology now to scan right through the Earth, and I can give you a picture 400 times greater than a CAT scan and tell you exactly what it's made of and how big that atmosphere is down there, and show you the beings that live there. We are sharing the planet, and it's a good thing. And we cannot destroy the planet. We have the technology to clean up Fukushima in 7 days. We can eliminate that 10 square mile thing of garbage outside of Asia there in Japan. I mean, we're killing the planet. And if we don't pull together our resources and do this, Mother Earth is going to do something else like she's done in the past, and she will cast us out of that situation. And there will probably be some cataclysmic event possibly. And, you know, I want to bring people together before that cataclysmic event, because we don't need, you know, these planets to tell us and you know, spank us and say, hey, you guys need to shape up, okay? We're only as good as our team, and we're all a team. People need to start thinking, you're not my enemy, okay? Just because you don't like chocolate and peanut butter like I do doesn't mean I hate you, okay? And this is the whole thing. We have to get rid of all this disgusting ways of thinking, because they're programmed. Someone was taught that. You know, you have to be taught racism. You don't have genetic formalities in your DNA that you just come out and you want to be a certain person and you want to destroy everyone. No, it doesn't work that way. Now, there are mind control things out there. That is true. And they can take over, you know, a priest's mind or someone of the holiness, and they can make that person be a serial killer. And, that's going to happen. But the thing is, it wasn't their choice to make it happen. They can use these technologies that are out there that I've been trained on, the scalar technologies, you understand, the biological viruses that can make you crazy. We have to look more at the earth, animal, human welfare. Okay. We need to learn more about consciousness assisted technologies. The physics are wrong. The science is wrong. We've been taught wrong. We've been taught a wrong history. And we need to bring this out. And scientists and teachers of the world that know this need to come forward. We just had another person this past week that's going to come forward that was, my boss in the project. And these people are older than me, and they need to, they're thinking, I'm going to make some decisions now because I want my children's children to have a beautiful earth with beautiful people, and we're going to do it. So that's my message to all you 17,000 people in 100 countries listening right now. I love you all. We're going to do it if you want. It's up to you. You want to live in the matrix? Go for it. Not me. There's the matrix that we're living in right now, and the reality behind it is so beautiful. It's amazing. We don't have to be sick. We don't have to have any disease and famine. We all can have clean water all over. We can have the abundance of food for everyone. We can, there's not a population problem on the planet like you're led to believe. Okay, there's enough space on this planet and enough space in the ocean to build amazing cities that are self-sustainable, that do not pollute the waters, that do not pollute the atmosphere, that do not pollute our bodies. We are the most amazing creatures in all the universe. Again, I get a little tangent there. I'm emotional about this stuff. I want some people to know that this place is beautiful and everyone is beautiful if they're not being controlled.
And that is the part of wisdom right there. You're right. Like you, Emery, I believe that 99.99% of people are good. The heart of humanity is sound, as one of my spiritual mentors once said. And you're right. The programming that happens from day one or even before we're in the womb sometimes creates something other than what creation intended. Human beings that thrive on separatism and greed and control games and all that. And you so very eloquently stated that, how that's been going on and how we can do a whole lot better. In fact, from what you're saying, we have to do a whole lot better because otherwise there'll be a big pushback from Gaia if we don't. So thank you for your passion. It comes through, and I hope that it reaches the hearts of the people out there listening to this to realize what you're saying, that we are all in this together, and we have an unprecedented opportunity right now to step up and act like a collective that has a lot more power than I think it realizes it has. And again, you're speaking very eloquently to that. A couple questions that came in from people that asked me to ask them of you. One is have you ever been off planet or have known anyone who has?
I can comment just a little bit about that. And that question has many different answers because of the portal technology, because of the secret space program. And, I used to, of course, everyone knows I was with NASA. I went to the astronaut program. There are things of reality that it's kind of hard to explain. And one of them is, what does it mean to actually be off planet? Does that mean, a physical, person in a space shuttle going into space to the International Space Station and other space stations? Well, yes. Does it mean someone that went through an energetic field of energy through these portals and ended up somewhere else? Yes. These things are going to be revealed this year. And I hope some of the tech technologies and some of the data that I'm going to have access to through other insiders that are coming forward to talk about this specifically. So yes, I'll say to that, and you can ask me whatever you'd like.
Well, that's certainly something very promising when you say that some of this will be revealed this year, because yeah, the talk of portals and all these abilities and technologies that have been hidden that really don't keep us confined to this physical planet. That talk has been out there for quite a while, and that's why we're relying on insiders like yourself to give us more of the truth about that and the timing. It is a fascinating subject, but what I hear you saying also, Emery, is that we have to take care of this planet. In my personal view, what use is it to go to other places and screw them up as badly as we've screwed this up? At the same time, we have to take care of getting along here on Earth, doing the right thing by our planet and her biosphere, and making it very much a healthy organism, so that as we travel to these other places, we will also create beauty when we go there instead of chaos. So I hear your plea that we need to get our ducks in a row and our house in order here on Earth as a species, and heal things at the same time as we're accepting these new technologies. It's really exciting to hear about some of those coming down, especially the fact that if you want to talk a little bit more about the medical technologies, you alluded to a device or more than one device that you had that can cure diabetes and other things. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Because so many people out here, we all know someone who's sick from something major, if not multiple people in our families. We've all lost loved ones to deadly diseases and such. So any hope that can be given that it doesn't have to be that way, that technologies exist to cure some of these diseases, well, that's really inspiring information. Could you talk a little bit more about your device?
Yeah, there's many devices, and there's many regenerative clinics all around the planet. Unfortunately, when a scientist or a physician, a surgeon comes up with a great idea and he invents something, he gets really suppressed, by the FDA and the patent attorney's office. So it's hard in the United States to, really come out with some amazing things. However, go over to Europe and Asia and down to South America and Mexico, that's a whole other ballgame, because it's not as stringent down there. So technologies that people invent usually are kept out of the United States of America. One of the technologies I believe in is the Skinnar Cosmotic device by LAT Medical that was issued to me as an astronaut. All the astronauts had them. And these devices work like a rice machine with frequencies and whatnot. I'm not going to get into the science because you guys would have to stay with me for like 30 days. But it's a very simple thing that, just like in Star Trek, when Bones waves it over your forehead and heals your brain, everything's good to go. And it's just like this, using this Skinnar Cosmotic energy. And these things now are being shipped from overseas to the United States of America. And because of where it comes from, they know the address that if anything comes from this corporation, it gets confiscated. They take the chip out of it, and then they send it to you like nothing happened. And now you're just stuck with an electrical stimulator device, that just kind of buzzes on your body and doesn't really do anything. So it's all being suppressed here. So you might have to go to other countries to actually get good health care. And I've been to many hospitals just in Mexico City, and the quality of care there is 100,000 times better. They're cleaner. They got better technology. They have better radiology. They have, people that are, they're not scared to go on a limb and try some experimental things, and including stem cells and platelet-rich plasma and alpha-2 macroglobulin and these anti-aging technologies, because it's suppressive here. Same thing with supplements and nutraceuticals and cosmeceuticals. I mean, these things, I was talking to the FDA and Big Pharma and the government a few years ago, and I said, 80% of all pharmaceuticals we are allergic to or have a reaction to. We're sensitive to it, which means every time someone writes a prescription, they're 80% negligent, but they don't know any better. What else is there? They're not giving patients the choice to have this, that, or the other. But guess what? When I proved this to them, they came to my house in the black suits and they said, "What are you doing, Smith? Are you publicizing this? You know, are you going to be a whistleblower?" And I've never been a whistleblower. I hate when people call me a whistleblower. I'm not a whistleblower. And I said, no. I said, "You're doing something wrong to the people." And I said, "Someone's going to find out and you're going to have to answer it. And it's going to be really bad. I'm telling you, 80% of pharmaceuticals you're allergic to." Okay, here's my 500-page briefing. Good. They took it, read it, and 3 days came back. "Oh my goodness, you're going to be dead in a couple, like 48 hours. What are you doing with this? Why did you even do this on your own dime?" I said, "Because my family has suffered over pharmaceuticals. You are killing people intentionally. Okay, you're making them even more sick than they need to be. So they come back for even more." I said, "You have to do something to change this. You have to give, people a choice." "Oh my goodness, well, there's no choice. We can't, and they started like asking a couple. I said, "Are you asking me for help?" I said, "Do you want to know how to fix this so simply?" And they said, "Oh, what do you mean? You have an idea?" I said, and I went on the shelf. I pulled out the other 500 report to show them how this is. I said, "Yeah, it's right here." I said, it's a simple fix." "Well, what do you mean in a nutshell?" I said, "In a nutshell, there's other medications out there that are not as harmful." I said, "There's this really old medicine, these old medicines that guys should read up. It's called Chinese herbal medicine. It's been around 3,000 years or longer." And they looked at me and they're like, "You mean herbs?" I said, "Yeah, because, there's more studies on colloidal silver than there is on amoxicillin." I said, "There's more studies on ginkgo biloba, than there are on these, brain-enhancing Alzheimer's diseases medication." I said, "What more do you want?" I said, "Guess what? Get the big pharma involved. We have to. Let's work with them. You got to pay 2% more if you want this herbal supplement other than this chemical supplement." And the body knows this. When you walk up to, these pharmacies, let's say CVS and Walgreens, top two. Imagine going up there and the patient has a choice to take a chemical drug or an herbal drug. The body is going to go this way, even though it has to pay an extra 2%, let's just say. And to them, the first thing they say is, we can actually control this, and we can actually make money off it. Oh no, everything is happy, everyone's great, And this is what gets me. It's like we have to actually do these little crazy things, but it's better at least to have a choice, even though you have to pay for it. That you're going to do something on your body that's not going to destroy your body later on. Same thing with injecting steroids into your joint. It's already been proven that this destroys tenocytes, the cells in your articular cartilage. So when I came out with stem cells and PRP and all this stuff, the big surgeons were like, "Get out of my office. I know who you are, and you're going to kill my total knee and hip business because I do 6 to 8 total knee and hip a day, and that's how I get my money." I said, "Well, why do you keep putting cortisone in these patients when in 3 months, it's going to take the pain away, but in 3 months, they're going to have a knee scope. And in another year or two, they're going to have a total knee done." I said, "It's wrong. You're doing there's 60% of all the surgeries going on, not just orthopedic, but it's just unnecessary." And I'm not beating up on the orthopedic community, because the orthopedic community, once they found out that they can get more money from a stem cell injection than doing a total knee, when I taught them how to market this, then everything is great. Then everyone's my best friend. But before that, they want to destroy me, And it's just funny that you have to go around this whole money-making greed to do the right thing. And I have it for not only medical. I know how to talk the lingo with the energy devices. I know how to talk, the lingo for, the way we grow and harvest plants and things like this, that we can improve all that very simply, and it's very cost effective, in the long run, especially when you're doing something great to heal the planet. You're doing something great to heal someone's body. It's not something that needs to be overpriced. It's not something that needs to be greedy about. But, in the American greed, we want to do numbers. Well, how many numbers? Well, how effective is it? Well, let's throw that all out. If you could have anything done on you and you know about these new technologies, what are you going to do for your mom is what I ask the docs after I teach them. So, 100% they're going to do this natural occurring things. That means looking into the body, doing more scientific research on, we have an amazing device, this body. It can heal itself if it's running at the right voltage. If you're taking, good things into your body that actually, allow that voltage to get to where it's supposed to be at, then the body can cure anything on its own, believe it or not. I'm coming out with this supplement, Zeta RX, and it has to do with increasing zeta waves, alpha waves, and delta waves, and getting the body into the right voltage so it can cure itself, and also increasing your consciousness and IQ. Like, there's a lot of these biohacking little supplements out there, and there's all these talk about, increasing IQ. That's all great. But how about I give you something that's all natural herbal? It's just the synergistic qualities and the percentages of these mixed together create a great frequency that can do something else, such as, getting you to see into the future a few seconds, and getting you to be more aware of your surroundings, getting you to allow you to do 20 different things at once, and at the same time in stressful situations, lowering your anxiety. So these things are out there and people are coming forward, and this is going to be a nutraceutical, not a pharmaceutical. And, there's more coming forward as far as the technologies. You can research these technologies online. There's many different ones. I've shared it with many different agencies and different medical corporations. And you want to look up platelet-rich plasma. You want to look up stem cells, autologous, by the way. That means it comes from your own body. So your body has everything it needs to be equipped to fix itself. The reason it can't equip itself and fix it all the time is because of the energies around us, and the, where you live. Like I said, all the contaminants that are around you are breaking our fields down and lowering our immune systems. So there's a way through all the advent of concentrating your own body's natural healing properties and putting it into a part of the body that's diseased, and using things like ozone gas and eating, using green juices to fight off cancer, raising the oxygen into the body to fight off these cancers and things, and basically utilizing what you're already equipped with through technology. And I'm going to come out a lot more with this stuff in the next couple of months, so stay tuned, because this is a whole nother show just talking about the technologies of healing. And I do have a lot of people writing in saying, I have this disease, So I'm going to address all those questions, everyone. It's just right now I'm just trying to find a place to live.
Wow. Certainly with the kind of promise of the technologies you're talking about, I think you're getting a lot of people's attention, if not for so many other reasons, Emery. Thank you for going into all that depth about the health benefits that are available to us and are going to be revealed more to us. What we're going to do now is we said we would talk about an hour, and I think we've come up on an hour's time. This has been a fascinating, quick listen to you, and I know this is just like a summary of what you have to offer, but it's been a fascinating one that I think will get a lot of people's attention, and we'll have people coming back for us to do deeper dives into some of these different areas. I didn't even get to half the questions that I had for you because you've got so much to talk about. So thank you for that, Emery. What I wanted, if you want to just say a few closing sentences, and then I'll go ahead and sign off. Maybe you want to give your PayPal link again and the address for people to send contributions, because not everybody uses PayPal. I'll give you the opportunity right now to give people that information again, and also to ask people again as passionately as I can to support Emory. You've listened to what he's been saying here, and I hope that it's lit a fire under you to want to be able to contribute somehow, because you have a hand in this and being able to bring it forward by supporting Emory and his team and his associates to do all this good work. So Emory, I'll turn it over to you to give the contact information for people to send you contributions, and then we'll sign off.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. And once again, you can go to my website, emerysmith.net, and you can also go to the PayPal if you guys want to help out. I am going to be putting some things up about trying to design a regenerative medicine clinic for the world where no one will be denied to get help. And this is something we're working on, and making the public more aware for big people and investors that want to come on board with that, including the over Unity devices and energies and the batteries that we have that last a whole year on your cell phone and in the Tesla cars and whatnot. So Emory 72 is the, if you just go to PayPal, look up Emory Smith 72, you'll find that. You can go to my website as well. It's emerysmith.net. And I really appreciate you guys had time for doing this. And it's been so great to talk to you, Costa, after a few years of not being able to, communicate as I was underground. And can't wait to have another talk with you in the near future and go over even more in depth of what we already talked about here. This is just scratching the surface, as you know. I love you all, and thank you so much. And to the far reaches of planet Earth, I just want to say thank you all.
Thank you, Emory, for sharing yourself and your time. And everyone listening, thank you. Please share this and get the word out. We have, what I like to say is the best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's what we're doing right now, is we learn this information and support people like Emory and spread it around, because we are the collective and we are growing. This is Costa Macris from etletstalk.com. Come join us there, and we'll teach you how to talk with extraterrestrials, and we'll be talking more about that with Emory in future episodes here. Thanks again, everyone. Until next time. Bye-bye.